Welcome to a new update. It is the day which is more important than yesterday. We've had FOMC meeting coming in. Today we've got a more important event, which is GDP. And what you didn't want to see was a negative GDP. What you want to see is that the prices have been dropping down when it comes to GDP as well. Both have been taking place, so it's great that Bitcoin is consistently holding up at this point. We've got one more day of data coming in, which is going to be crucial for the markets to actually start continuing going upwards. So tomorrow is going to be another big day, and I'll explain to you in this update why it's going to be important, why we are consistently holding up here, and what the crucial levels are for Bitcoin in this short update. Before we continue, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also make sure to check out our premium membership, which you can try for 1 week for free, which you can find in the description beneath. And also check out my Twitter, where I post more content on the markets. Now, when we're talking about the markets, then we are going towards the website called Forex Factory, which is providing all the data that you need. Yesterday, we've had a nothing burger with the FOMC statement. They were expecting to raise rates by 25 pips, which is 0.25%. That took place. Markets have been reacting in a slight manner, but we're actually up a little bit since then. Also, out of the entire speech from Powell, no real response came. He was dovish, hawkish. At least he says that he's not sure whether they continue to have hikes at the September meeting, as now we have got the summer break. But at least they assume that they will be data dependent, which they always are. And I think that the odds of having a potential rate hike is going to decrease over time. So that is what took place yesterday. And the markets have seen a slight response overall. Today, a big, a number of events took place. ECB did the rate hike of 25 pips as well. Also a nothing burger. Then we've got the unemployment claims, which are still better than expected. Also a nothing burger. Then we've got the unemployment claims, which I mentioned. We've got the advanced GDP prices. And we've got some more economic data, which is, what do we see here? What you don't want to see right now is what I said yesterday in the live stream too. You don't want to see a case where the markets are going to have an impact through having a bad GDP. A bad GDP right now would directly say that we are going to have a recession. So what you want to see is a positive GDP, because the question about the recession is going to be dwindling away. Additionally, what you want to see is that the unemployment claims are going to be strong and the labor markets are going to continue to be strong, but inflation keeps on going down. Because that is the key factor for Powell to focus on. It's still inflation, unless unemployment claims starting to raise, which inevitably at some point we will. But at least if the jobless claims are going to do well, and also the overall market environment is going to do well through economic data as GDP, that is what you want to see. So today, we've got GDP coming in, and GDP gave a number of 2.4%, while 1.8% was expected. So it's more positive than expected, and it's also a relatively large number, as it is the advanced GDP, which is the first number that comes out from the quarter before. Secondly, we do see another key ingredient, which is the advanced GDP price index, which dropped from 4.0% to 2.2%, which is another fast drop in numbers of prices, which is that this data is a measure of inflation, and you can see that we reached the target of 2%. So this is the first time that we get close towards the 2% target. Tomorrow we're going to have more data on that, and additionally what we got is the goods orders, which have been going up more than expected. 4.7%, strongest number basically since the entire past 2 years. So the economy is doing well. And tomorrow we're going to have Bank of Japan, we've got CPI from Germany, we've got the core PCE price index, which is super important. If PCE comes in better than expected again, as the expectations are that we're getting towards 3%. If that is going to be the case and we drop beneath 3%, the odds of having a hike is going to decrease over time. Why is that? Well, what we saw in terms of price response is that we're still seeing that the yields are currently on a high. However, as I mentioned before, we are on the edge on having, that is a super good place to do that, to have a massive bearish divergence here, which is similar to what we've seen in 2018, which is what we see now again. So we are on the edge of starting to drop. If PCE comes in good tomorrow, the chances are that the expectations of another rate hike is going to decrease over time. Also, the dollar is quite strong as a response. We've got a massive candle here. We try to break through the resistance zone, but ultimately we are close to getting into the resistance here, which means that if PCE comes in better than expected tomorrow, probably we have a U-turn. If PCE is coming in higher than expected, probably the DXY continues. Now the crucial factor is gold is dropping down. We rejected the crucial resistance, so we probably are going to have some more tests on lower grounds. What do we see even more? We do see that the Nasdaq continues to rally upwards. And why is that? Well, it is because we are not having a potential recession based on the data that we have right now. That's a good ingredient for Bitcoin too. Especially crypto traded people are expecting to have at least a recession, or are going to be focused a lot on FOMC. So having this case of the stocks continuing to run up, we are probably also close towards the end of the entire correction on Bitcoin, which as a matter of fact could continue towards the area of 28k, of course. But this data, and I mentioned before, if the end of the hiking policy is going to come around, most likely we're going to have an upwards turn on the markets. And if you look at the weekly perspectives on Chainlink, on Ethereum, on Bitcoin, on Avalanche, the total market cap, it looks quite good for a breakout in the coming period. So the ingredients are there. It just needs the trigger to actually continue. And with the FOMC, with GDP today, and hopefully PCE tomorrow, the Bitcoin bull cycle can start continuing. Which means in a bull cycle, every 20 to 30% correction, you want to get yourself positioned in the markets. Every correction and every drop like we have right now in the past 6 months have been resulting into tremendous returns if you are buying those. And that is a different mindset than when you are into a bear market, and we are not into one anymore. So get up, use the opportunities to do the add-ons. So that's going to be fine. Now in this case, what do we see for Bitcoin on the lower time frames? We see a case of having a rejection at a crucial resistance point. So we've got a bunch of lows to take, potentially. We can still have this case and then we shoot up because we need the liquidity to actually make that U-turn up. But if we break through this crucial resistance zone at 29.7, I would assume we go to 31k before we retest. So then this is an entry, this is your entry. Right now we're in the middle of the pack. If you want to short, of course you've got your entry already. Then you can start targeting the lows here. But ultimately, I think that this is your zone for longs. And I think that we're on the edge of having a breakout to the upside still. So I think having a positive GDP is good for the markets. Although you might see a first response that it's not the case. Having a recession is going to put some pressure on the price action overall. If PCE comes in better than expected tomorrow, we'll also have a positive price reaction on the markets as a result of that. Additionally, we're still waiting for the altcoins to continue moving, and I'll make an update on that in the Saturday one. I have been trading the portfolio. If you want to know more about that, make sure to join the Discord beneath. Have a wonderful day. Ciao.